Riverside.
The Colorful Coaching Podcast. I'm sure you're just as excited as I am to continue my rambling from the pilot. The title of this episode is pretty boring, so hopefully it doesn't actually end up that way. I'll try to stick to my script this time. Maybe. I've already deviated a little bit, but we'll see. Okay. Just to do a super quick recap from the last episode, or I suppose the first episode, the pilot episode. Well, hi. All we talked about was what I plan on doing here, which is to make your life better by talking about everyday life problems and how we can maybe use those to our advantage to feel better. Hopefully, my sound recording and everything is okay. This is take 1. We're going to try. It took me 2 on the last one, so let's see. Okay, I want to keep my episodes close to 20 to 30 minutes just to make them convenient for the drive, like to and from work, or like on your lunch break if you need just a little pick-me-up. After all, I'm here to make you feel better on your time, not to make you listen to an hour-long rambling of what is life and why are we here. So this week's primary focus is going to be on what has driven me to produce a life coaching podcast in hopes that it will make you feel maybe less like a slacker or something. I don't know. That'll make more sense as we get through the episode. So with all of that being said, let's begin the first official episode. So first I want to cover my past. This is not a start from the very beginning type of, it all began when I was born type of exploration into my past. What I mainly want to share is why my past has led me to this podcast creation. I'm going to travel back in time to just after high school, around 2012. Shh. Nobody has to calculate my age on that one. Anyway, let's insert some time travel music here. I don't know. I don't have any media for that one. Anyway, right out of high school, I worked at a pizza place, a hotel, and a retail chain. If you're listening, you're already seeing a pattern. Yeah. I left the pizza place actually due to sexual harassment, though. The guy wanted the only female there, aka me, to stand out by the street holding a sign wearing a bikini to promote Bikini Tuesday specials, where if you show up in your swimwear, you get like $5 off or something. So yeah, left that place because I was the only female that worked there and I was not going to be dealing with that. There's a lot of other stuff that went on with that, but we won't go into that right now. The hotel I left because the supervisor spit in my face after yelling at me for helping my coworkers. She kind of just disappeared, and then coworkers had questions about where the clean shower curtains were, I think is what it was. And I was like, hey, well, here we are. They're right here. Let's use these. We grabbed them, and then my supervisor came and yelled at me, telling me that she had to do inventory on those before she could send them out, but we couldn't find her when we needed the help. And then after all of that, she spit in my face, and I left. She did not get fired. At least not to my knowledge. So that was a bad streak right off the bat. My first 2 official jobs, terrible management, sexual harassment, just It was awful. The retail chain I went to after the hotel, it was at Walmart. I worked there because my mom had been there for like over half my life. Actually, more than that at the time. I think she started there when I was 2, something similar. I don't remember exactly, but um, yeah. So I went there. I was well known, so ended up having help with my interview to kind of help me answer the questions correctly to get hired. Um, so I was a cashier there. Um, let's see. During the time I was working part time, I was also exploring higher education options. Here's another trend that I had going, and I still have actually, and I'll get into that a little bit too. So at first, I wanted to go to beauty school because I absolutely loved cutting and coloring mine and my mom's hair. I actually still do. I just don't do it as often. I also really like doing nails now, which I didn't like doing then. But ended up not doing that because I didn't want to be known as the dumb blonde who went to beauty school because she couldn't do anything else or wasn't smart enough for anything else. That is such a stupid, stupid thing. Um, if you want to go to beauty school because you love doing it, then do it. Me not doing that, now I feel like the dumb blonde. And I'm not saying dumb blonde as in like someone who really has a hard time in school. I'm saying dumb blonde like the, cliche version. Um, the one that um, you know, really ditzy, you know, I didn't want to be known as that, even though that's not the case with beauty school. I know a lot of people who have gone and have been very successful running their own businesses. So that's all derogatory and stupid. Um, so don't be like me. Don't worry about that. Just do what you want to do. I really wish I would have gone for it. But anyway, after bailing on the beauty school thing, I applied to nursing school. Um, I knew that I loved helping people, and being a nurse was a respected career field. So it went from like being worried about being the dumb blonde to wanting to be known as this smart nurse, I guess. Um, I applied. I got accepted. I went to orientation. I picked up one of my books, which I might actually still have. I meant to look before recording this, but I didn't. Um, but then I found out that my financial aid was $400 short, and I didn't have that money because I was only working part time, and that part time was completely gone because of rent and groceries and bills. So I didn't go. I my normal Jacqueline fashion, I just said no. I'm not gonna do it if I can't afford it. So I became a college dropout before my first day of school. Yay! Hold on, wait. Oh darn. I was gonna do. Oh, here we go. Yay! Anyway. Okay, so college dropout, two different ideas for what I wanted to do with my life. All before I was, before I was 19. So I was 18 when I was working at Walmart and looking at school. So I have a wide range of interests, and I get very frustrated with them and quit quickly without trying again just because of one letdown. I'm still like that. However, I have learned how to control it a little bit more. Take a deep breath, take some time, and revisit it. But these college experiences, when I was 18, was just a start of my try and fail record. I got scrutinized by one of my half siblings when I shared that I wasn't going to go to nursing school because of that $400 short. I was told that I was stupid and lazy and was just looking for an excuse to get out of it. At the time, I thought I was doing the right thing because I was trying to be independent, not put myself in more debt than the school would have already drowned me in. I mean, like I said, I was 18, but them telling me those things, they messed with me. They messed with me to a point where I wasn't able to move forward with that. I just ended up not going to school at all and worked part-time until I didn't. And that was kind of the end of it. So fast forward to 2014. I'm married, looking for a career, 20 years old. I found an online certification program that was going to be fully funded through the benefits of being a military spouse, so I take it. I complete a 6-month program in 4 months, get my pharmacy technician certification, and land a job right out of school at Walgreens, and I loved it. This was my favorite job. So I found my career, right, in 2015. A year and a half later, I introduced you to my daughter, Eleanor. She changed everything, and I took my 6 weeks of maternity leave, and on the very last day, after taking that full 6 weeks to think about it, I told my boss I wasn't coming back. I wanted to be home with my baby. I needed to. She was a handful, so it was definitely worth staying home. I don't regret it at all. So, back to not knowing what I was going to do with myself. I was happy being a stay-at-home mom for a while, anyway. But then around 2020, we all know what happened here, the wonderful global pandemic. I was stuck at home with my husband and my toddler, and I was miserable. I needed an outlet, a place to get away, and I realized I actually wanted a total separation. I filed for divorce in 2020. It was quick, but not painless. I will spare the details. Those do not need to be aired in public for any reason. We won't talk about that at all throughout this entire podcast. We will not visit the aspects of the miserable parts of my life. That is just personal laundry that does not need to be hung out. But going through the divorce, I had to move out, find my own place. I had to find another job. I had to pay the bills. So I took the first job that I was called to interview for, which was caregiving, in-home caregiving. I worked in elderly homes, helping them clean, cook, just being there for them, and I fell in love with it. Again, another job caring for people. And the people that I cared for at this point, they really became my family. They helped me through some of the toughest times in my life. They gave me furniture for my new place. They just offered an ear to listen, because I didn't really have that other than the people who have already heard it. And, it's kind of nice to just have other perspectives outside of that. But unfortunately, I was a single mom at this time and needed more money than companionship, so I had to find another job. As a lot of mothers do, a lot of single parents, not just mothers, do, you have to keep juggling. You have to juggle your time, your finances, your pros and cons of what you're doing now versus what you could be doing. And I ended up taking a cleaning job for a cleaning company, and I actually ended up enjoying that job more than the caregiving, but only because I could just put in my headphones, listen to music, and do my job, which was great. I had more hours and more pay, but it was still only part-time. So the cleaning company became like my therapy in a way. I could just go to these houses, put my headphones in, listen to music or podcasts, dance around, doing what I needed to do to just be done with work. And it was awesome. I got some really great tips, and I made ends meet. But I realized I wasn't getting paid enough to do what I was being told to do. We can explore that in another episode. But doing duties outside of the job that you're being paid to do for the price that you were originally being paid to do it, not worth. So I quit, did a couple of other jobs, until a few clients actually reached out to me begging me to come back and clean for them. After a little while of them asking, I did, and I started my own cleaning company. This is where I thrived for a while. I had clients calling left and right. I was about to start hiring people when I tore my rotator cuff in my shoulder and was no longer able to do the work. I tried to do just light housekeeping, but even then, I just couldn't do it. So, yeah, I had to close down, unfortunately, even though I was growing to the point where I could have started hiring people. I couldn't physically train them myself, so I didn't want to go for it anymore. Anyway, so yeah, after that failed because of just injury, I ended up trying retail merchandising, delivering pizzas, went back to caregiving, and then landed at this most recent job, which I was an employment specialist for people who have disabilities, mental, physical, even people who had criminal backgrounds who just needed help finding places, finding an advocate for themselves. And that's exactly what led me to change my degree for the third time and to try and find my place in this world. Yeah, the degree change. I said we would cover it. We're going to cover it right now. Started off after not going to beauty school and then not going to nursing school and then just not doing anything. Getting the pharmacy technician certification, not doing anything. I finally went back in 2021, January 2021. I started a business management degree because of all the bad management that I experienced. There was honestly a lot of it. So I wanted to be the manager that, I always wanted to have. And then I met a little thing called statistics, and it kicked my butt, and I hated it. So I switched to a different school, to art education. This is where I really wanted to be. I'm an artist, and I love teaching people, so I did that. That school was really expensive because it was out of California. I'm in Missouri. Out of state tuition at a art school is ridiculous. So I ended up having to leave that because of finances. Then I had to switch to another school locally. They didn't have an art education program, so I went to art and design, figured I could get my education and master's later. That didn't last long because it was honestly kind of boring. It was just a bunch of gen ed and then studio classes that I'm doing online, which is stuff I do every day anyway. It was just boring. I felt like I was wasting my money. So I landed on my current degree plan because of my employment specialist job, pre-art therapy with a minor in human resource management. Why? Well, I thought I could be the manager that I always wanted behind the scenes and make sure that I don't, hire people that don't need to be there, which is what I also experienced a lot of. So yeah, switched to pre-art therapy. I had to do that versus just switching to a whole different degree like psychology because I had primarily art classes. So this would incorporate all of those and still allow me to get my degree earlier than, 6 years from now. So I am now a year and a half away from getting my bachelor's in pre-art therapy, which I will have to go on to get a master's in order to practice, or I, do education or whatever calls to me by the end of this. But we ventured back now to 2012, to 2014, 2016 when I left Walgreens, 2020, got the divorce, and today, 2024. Here I am, February 26, 2024. My present. I am happily remarried. The best kid in the world. No job at the moment. Just full-time schoolwork and finding a hobby that suits my time and interest. I paint mostly and try to stream and record videos that I think others would like to watch. In my future, honestly, who the hell knows? I have an idea to become a counselor or a life coach in some form. Use creative solutions to make people's lives better, to help people make their lives better. But really, who knows what's going to happen? I don't. All I know is I'm going to live in today and I'm going to plan for tomorrow and I'm going to do what I can do to feel good about myself and the world around me. But now that we've time traveled, we've explored how I got here, it's your turn. At the end of the episode, there's a Q&A section, like kind of down in the comments section. If you're watching the video on YouTube, it is in the comments section that I would like for you to leave a comment and tell me how you ended up where you are now. I would like to have some community discussions that will kind of maybe shed some light on what other people may be going through and don't want to talk about. So let me know, how did you get to where you are now? I'll grab a couple of them if I have them in the next episode's recap, so that we can follow up with some feedback and maybe I can give some unsolicited advice for maybe how you could get back to where you want to be or further where you're going if you are where you want to be. Either way, it's great and I want to hear it. If you're doing exactly what you dreamed of doing, I want to hear it. Let there be a success story out there. If you want to get back to doing what you wanted to do before, but there are things holding you back, let me know. Let's talk about it. But I've hit my limit for the day. And with all of that said and done, I'll see you guys later. Stay creative. Don't let the world get you down. And I will coach you in the next one. Bye, everyone.